A young girl and her smoochum are at the top of Mount Mortar, training endlessly by throwing Pokeballs at a painted target. This training is the only way Crystal can hone her skills to become the best Pokemon catcher in the world. It's tiresome work, but with Chumi by her side, the two of them continue to train until the sun begins to set. Suddenly, a loud roar echoes behind them, startling the two as a rogue Arcanine charges at them out of nowhere. In the panic, Crystal stumbles on the rocky surface and falls a great distance, landing on her arms and breaking them before her vision slowly fades black as she faints from exhaustion. Crystal opens her eyes, her arms still searing with pain, but something was different. In front of her stood a Parasect and a Cubone who were watching her intently. She notices that her arms were hurting less now, so she tries to move them, but they were secured by a makeshift brace made out of bones and vines. Then, slowly, it dawned on her. These weren't just any old bones, they belonged to Cubone. And her miraculous arm recovery, that was due to the medicine from Parasect's spore to stop the pain. Crystal turns around, spotting a Hitmonchan and a Natu step out from behind the rocks, revealing that they had been on lookout duty. Crystal had never seen this kind of warmth from wild Pokemon before, but there they were, watching over her as she was unconscious. These Pokemon seemed injured, and Crystal realizes that they had fought off the Arcanine from earlier. They had found each other from this unfortunate circumstance, and now they were stuck here in this rocky clearing with a feral Arcanine on the loose. Suddenly, Natu's foresight alerts her of danger, and the group immediately got prepared as the Arcanine emerged behind them. He steps out into the clearing and bares his fangs against our injured group, ready to attack. Crystal takes a deep breath, unsure of how this will end, and unsure if they can even make it out of this situation alive. Something didn't sit right with Crystal. As the other Pokemon began to square up to battle the wild Arcanine, Crystal took a second to reflect on her previous encounter. She thought about the Arcanine's behavior when they were being chased and suddenly realized that, throughout the entire chase, Arcanine was only running towards its left. His right eye seemed to be closed, and Crystal realizes that it must have been injured. She lifts up his thick fur to confirm that, yes, he did indeed have a deep cut under his right eye. She stops the battle, stepping in front of Arcanine and convincing everyone that Arcanine was injured and was only acting defensively out of instinct. The rest of the team seemed hesitant, but Parasect steps forward and uses some spore medicine that she had used for Crystal. And, like magic, Arcanine's wound immediately began healing. He seems a little puzzled at first, scratching at where his wound once was, but as soon as he realizes what happened, he gives Crystal and Parasect a big lick out of appreciation. They spend some time together as Arcanine and Crystal recovered, with Parasect tending to their wounds, Cubone replacing her arm brace, Hitmonchan being her arms while they were recovering, and Natu scouting the area to make sure they were safe. From this moment on, our group became good friends, almost like a found family, and everyone joined Crystal to travel the region on more adventures together as a team. Lance leads with Gyarados, and we lead with our star player Maimi. With the quad-effective Thunderbolt, we easily decimate the Leviathan, which brings out his Aerodactyl. But since Lance is basically a flying master, we can outspeed and get another clean one-shot with Thunderbolt. Charizard comes out next, and we go for another Thunderbolt, but he hangs on in the red. We get a lucky para, but Charizard retaliates with a Shadow Claw, dealing exactly half our HP.